No, dead. They're all dead.
Mamma mia.
The following views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the producers, hosts, and or guests of the Bitter Marks podcast. We assume no responsibility for any errors or omissions in the content provided.
Listener discretion is advised.
Bitter Marks. Bitter Marks.
Oh, what is up, smooth babies? Welcome to Bitter Marks. It's your favorite non-wrestling wrestling podcast coming to you when we feel like it at bittermarks.com or wherever you get your podcast from. That includes YouTube. That's right, we're on YouTube right now. We record live at 9:05 whenever it is that we record. If you want to know when that is, I would definitely suggest following our Instagram or Twitter at bittermarks at both locations. And that's really about it. I don't know. You can email us, bittermarks@gmail.com. We got a couple emails, outstanding emails coming in today. And I don't know. Let's just get directly into it. I'm going to bring in my dear friend. He's a ref. He counts the three. He's going to carry this show on his back like he carries indie shows around northeastern United States and potentially the Midwest as well. Wisconsin's not a state. I refuse to acknowledge Wisconsin. Anyway, it's Pee-wee.
Utterly shocked that you nailed the intro as well as you did. Very nicely done.
I'm feeling good. That's why, if I'm in a good mood, it all starts tiptoeing to the front of my membrane, and I've lost it already. It's over.
We had a good run. That's okay. Oh, how you been, man?
Not bad. Tired a little bit, as we all are.
Say, do we pretend that we didn't just have a 2-hour podcast on the other show last night?
Yeah, that was insane. 2 hours of that, and that was following a night of a concert I went to. And you can't go to concerts at our age anymore. It shouldn't happen. You need recovery time. Speaking of recovery time, we're joined here by the punctual prince of podcasting, who also dabbles in concerts. It's producer Tony.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we living?
He is.
We're good. We're alive. We see our dear friend Evie says, hello, mate. I think he's in Australia. He potentially drove to Australia. I'm feeling good, man. Are you guys feeling good? It's June. Weather's kind of nice, even though it's raining right now. But temperature-wise, we're good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's end of the school year for my kid. It's schedules are starting to free up. I'm feeling it too. I'm in a good mood.
Where is Connor going to college, by the way?
Hopefully nowhere. I'm getting more and more against college. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, student loans, I hear that's a problem.
It didn't do a ton for me, and most of my life was dedicated to college.
Well, I mean, by the time that Connor goes to college, who knows what's going to happen with this country? And I mean nuclear-wise. That's right. We are now a political podcast just talking about Russian potential bombings. Anyway, allegedly, yes, absolutely allegedly. Let's start the show, guys. I want to talk about myself for the first 45 minutes, if you guys have any problems with that.
Please, take it home.
I did something that I think you guys are going to be proud of. Wasp Nest is out of here, guys.
Whoa.
What?
It's gone.
Really?
Show the picture. Give
There's
me
a
the
picture. There's proof.
Look at this.
That's how you start a summer, boys.
It looks like you got stung by several wasps in this picture. Look at your face.
No, that's
so
just
you brought it in your house.
I did, yeah. Also, the potential stinging is just late night eating every single night. That's what that is. Definitely fills up my face and arms. I brought it inside the house because I taught him a lesson. Right. I went up there.
This is my house. This is not your house. Let me give you a tour of my house.
It was, I hope, empty. But yeah, so that was it. It's about the size of my hand. You guys get to see the thing that's been haunting my dreams. Not very big.
Not at all. You couldn't throw a baseball at that?
No, I'm telling you, the location of it was impossible to get to. Every friend who's come to my house looked at it And then they all backed away, every single one of them, except Bellwood Bishop, because he lives far away. But he's the only true man who I believe would have gotten it down.
Sure.
The rest of you friends of mine, cowards.
All right.
So I had to rely on my neighbor. My neighbor Johnny came over because he saw me on my ladder, which was a very rickety ladder.
Yeah.
And I had a broom stick, and I was jabbing like this, like I was a hockey goalie, if you will. This is how I play a hockey goalie back in the day. Putsky knows what I'm talking about. And I was jabbing at it, and I was not even close to it, and the ladder was shaking. And so my neighbor, he's he's like a small Asian guy. He brings over his ladder, sturdy, efficient, passed the statistics class, drives kind of poorly, but sturdy. And it helped me get to the top. He held on to it for me, and he watched as I almost shed a tear at the top because
What'd you do? Just put a glove on and like I don't know. It's not barehanded, but you just gripped it with a hand and ripped it off?
No, broomstick.
Yeah, broomstick.
Jab, 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 and it popped down. And right now, there's like dirt still up there. I have to like pressure wash it when I get a chance. And that's about it. But it's officially done. And so I think the podcast is done.
Like this.
Got it, right? Like story has been told. Yeah, look at Tony jabbing.
Yeah, I could have used that. How long is that sword? I have to
That's
say
what
sword
she said.
because
Oh!
some people may be listening and not watching.
That's true.
How long is that?
Tony
thing?
could have just 3D printed you a wasp catcher, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, next time. Me and Tony actually had lunch recently. It was actually Bittermark's meeting. He paid for it, so I assume he'll be reimbursed.
Company card, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where was my call?
Yeah, I felt bad about that. That. No, I think you were gone. I think, what day did we go up, Pee-wee? I mean, Tony.
Well, it was like 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pee-wee
was
weekend or
here.
something, yeah.
It was a Thursday.
Yeah.
It was a Thursday.
That was a Thursday.
I've been busy, yeah. That's all good.
We got some Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yep.
We had a good time. I totally forgot what it's like to go to lunch, like, during the week. It was very nice. Normally, I'm just out at a drive-thru or just not eating, going to my house or whatever.
It's the first time I've consumed meat with Sasha in quite a few years.
Oh,
so,
sure. That's
yeah.
true.
Oh, yeah.
He's back
yeah.
on the meat wagon, as they say.
I love my wings, fellas. I love my wings.
Same, absolutely.
And we were telling war stories about Ruby Tuesdays, where that Buffalo Wild Wings used to be a Ruby Tuesdays, and
yeah,
Sasha used to work there for many years.
It's so weird. I worked there for 7 years, and you go in there, and it's just like a completely different place. It's like when I went back to Americana Elementary School because we had the wrestling show, and your head almost hits the gym ceiling. Like everything is so much smaller. That's how it felt being in that place. And every time I go there, I'm like, this is where Juan Lucas used to stand. This is where the salad bar was, and now it's just wings, and it holds a tiny place in my heart, very tiny, kind of like the Ghostbusters, my friend. Let me tell you this: we talked about Ghostbusters before. I watched 1 and 2, big fan, enjoyed them very much. This guy watched women's Ghostbusters and new Ghostbusters.
WNBA Ghostbusters.
Wow.
Yes, we got next. We ghost next. And go ahead. Ask me questions, fellas. Ask away.
Did they catch 70% of the ghosts that the male Ghostbusters caught?
Ouch. I don't know. I'll tell you this. I preferred the female version to the new version.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is the rapper.
You need to explain yourself.
Very popular in the 90s or early 2000s. That is ludicrous, my friend.
You need to explain yourself.
It's SNL, people. You guys know I'm a big SNL guy.
I guess.
So that type of humor is good to me. I thought both of them were cool looking. Like the effects in both of them was very good. But the newest one was just weird. It's like, why is Paul Rudd hanging out with all these children? It was just weird.
He's a teacher.
It's just weird. Teachers don't hang out with kids outside of school. It was weird. You have to admit it was weird.
I beg to differ. I'll give you case and point. Boy Meets World and the cool teacher. Also, they lived next door to Mr. Feeney. What was the cool teacher's name with the motorcycle?
Mr. Feeney would not have hung out with them if he didn't live next door. the cool teacher adopted a child.
Right? You don't think that's
actually
weird?
going?
You can't,
that's
as a
going
teacher,
too
you can't
far.
adopt out of your classroom.
I agree. I think that's weird too. And I'll say this: I think teachers are worthless as humans.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's good to be back on this show, fellas. No, I know teachers are great, and we need them to teach the children how to catch ghosts or something.
So, what, did you
Bullshit.
watch this by yourself or with your wife?
With my wife,
Okay, did she like both of them?
I think we both liked both of them,
Okay.
but she also liked the women's one, but that doesn't count. She's
Better.
a woman.
Better.
Bias.
Mr. Turner, plus one goofballs, but there's two, says Mr. Turner. You're exactly right.
She said it reminded her a lot of like a Stranger Things ripoff, which I don't understand that reference, but maybe you guys deal with that thing.
Sure, it's
Because I guess the kid was
supernatural
from...
stuff. Yes, every
Yeah.
supernatural piece of entertainment is now a Stranger Things ripoff, or vice
Well, like
versa.
wasn't the kid from Stranger Things or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
one
I
of the
think
kids
there was
from-
one of them in there.
Yeah, it
Sure.
is in the new one. Right.
Yeah. So that was, I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
But you don't
I
like
enjoyed
the-
both of them.
What about
Enjoyed
the
both.
Tony? Have you seen the newest one?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, it's Plexine. I was assuming that you'd seen it. You had no, as a comic guy, as a comedy guy, you had no appreciation for the love that they gave Harold Ramis.
Oh yeah. No, that movie was full of.
I know you appreciate it. What about Sasha, the guy who loves comedy?
I thought you were asking me. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it was sweet. I wish he talked, like with a voice that was clearly not his voice. No, I mean that was cool. I liked the way that they did that. I also didn't I didn't really get the reference. Like I had to like I knew he was
just
dead.
watched the movies. I saw the newest one this year, and then I hadn't seen the original one since the 80s, and I got the reference. You saw them both within a 48-hour period.
No, I know he died, and I understand that he was a ghost, but it was the not talking thing was weird to me. And then I also found out that like him and Bill Murray hated each other or something like that.
That's why it was a big deal. Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal because he wasn't there. They paid Bill Murray, and he was like, "He's not going to be there." Okay, yeah, I can do this. That's all that was. It was straight cash, homie. But it was a nice touch. But it was just too long. It was too long and too weird. I do like that they brought the David Bowie woman back, or whatever that thing is.
Is that Zool?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so.
I know
The thing
Zool
with
is-
the two dogs or whatever they
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
bulls. I don't know what they are. But look, I love the effects. I'm afraid of ghosts. I'm afraid of movies like this in general. I give Ghostbusters a solid medium thumbs up all the way around.
Medium thumbs up. That's better
All
than
right.
a thick thumbs up.
So
or
now
a-
that you've seen all 4 of the movies, can you give us a power rankings for Sasha's Ghostbusters experience?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I go directly in order of how they came out. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So
1, 2, women's new one.
All right.
What about you guys? Let me ask you: is the second one generally known as the better one, like over the first one?
No, I think they're both. It either goes 1, 4, 3, or 1, 4, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 4, 3.
4, 3.
Either way, the consistent, the non-variable there is that number 3 is always at the end.
Yeah, and the other variable is the misogyny on this podcast,
Yeah.
which is what we'll be talking
Comes
about after.
90% from you.
my rankings are 1, 2, and
No.
4.
Mine is against all teachers, not just
Yeah.
female teachers.
Tony, 1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, 4. Yep. There is no 3.
3 just doesn't exist.
Nope. Never.
like it.
You've never seen it, right?
Fake news. It's not real.
You put it on the Plex Express and you refuse to watch it.
I don't know what Plex is, bro.
Plex Express. It is. Wait, I'll point at my nose. You know what the big flaw for me though is in all of the Ghostbusters movies? The fact that people are like, "Hey, Ghostbusters, this is a trick," or you know what I mean? They're like, "What are you? You're trying to pull something on us. We're gonna arrest you."
that is absolutely one of the problems with the newest one as well. It's like
They're at a concert with thousands of people.
they
and-
saved the city, like New York
Yeah.
City, multiple times, and then they're
Yeah.
shunned immediately afterwards.
They're like, I don't know about these Ghostbusters guys.
Right? Can we trust these guys?
And they do that in every single one. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Similar,
don't know.
Mighty Ducks and Mighty Ducks 2 is the same thing. Mighty Ducks 1, they go from a terrible team to form into a wonderful team. Mighty Ducks 2 starts out with the same team being terrible and have to get amazing again.
I'll move on here. We'll go to Whoosh. A couple days ago, June 2nd, I believe, was 20 years since my last wrestling match, fellas. We did it.
Wow.
20 years. That's wood, I believe, if you guys are getting me presents. Which also means that in 2 weeks on my birthday, June 19th, Impact, aka TNA, is having their 20th anniversary show.
Ooh.
Still around. TNA, still alive. Pee Wee,
unbelievable.
are you reffing?
I wish. Go down and see. They're running. Who's running Nashville? Oh no, like Starcast is running Nashville at some fairgrounds. I know that the original fairgrounds aren't there anymore, but they're running what the equivalent to the fairgrounds is for Starcast. It's not TNA, but it's around the same time.
Is that Flair's last match?
Yeah, that's where Flair's last match is taking place.
Okay.
At the Nashville fairgrounds, where me and Longtime drove down to for ever.
Yeah, that's insane. Ric Flair. What do you think about Flair wrestling again? Are you for it? Are you against it? Are you
I'm
scared?
against it. I think. Did you hear that Steamboat was originally supposed to be his opponent, and Steamboat is like, no, man, I'm good. I'm good. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's not gonna end well.
Yeah, how good could it be? Who is he working?
I'm gonna go.
Now? Do you know?
5 stars, by the way.
Is he working Kenny Omega?
In Japan, yes, 6 stars.
Do you know who his opponent? Or it's like a tag match or something, right?
I don't think they've said it yet because they probably don't have it booked yet. Like
Okay.
they're probably asking people. Like I heard it was supposed to be him and FTR versus Steamboat.
It's something where
and-
it's not going to be like
yeah.
Flair's not going to be highlighted in the thing, other than like taking the comeback and then that's it.
or maybe him and somebody versus
That
Rock and
shouldn't
Roll
be. If you're a
Express.
singles wrestler and you were never in a like notable tag team, your final match should not be in a 6-man or tag team match.
Yeah.
And like,
And
I just
what's
don't
even worse-
understand, like, what is he getting out of it? Like, it's not going to be a huge payday, obviously.
Cash money. I absolutely think it is.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is, and to add on to it, Starcast made a Ric Flair figure that they are selling for $200 a pop.
Okay. Yep.
With the weirdest stipulation I've ever seen. They're only making 1,000 of them, and only 750 of them are autographed.
Yeah, that was weird.
Whoa.
There's a couple weird things. Like you can order them and you can either have them mailed to you or you can pick them up at Starcast, which to me
Yeah.
just logistically seems like a pain.
Also, they look bad.
Yeah, I think
He
all
has-
that's out there is the prototype. I did see that. The face is all like wonky and it's
He
a
has
prototype.
breasts.
You can't judge
He also
it.
has breasts.
It's that type of figure. They all of those types of figures have breasts.
So is it 70-year-old Ric Flair on the figure then? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
it's like
Yeah.
it's a figure of him wearing the robe he'll be wearing for his last match, and he's never worn this robe before. So it's like a one of one figure, or a, you know what I mean, a one of one
Yeah.
scenario figure.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. It's fine. It's
Yeah, I
let
just
Flair
hate-
get paid. If he wants to get paid, let him get paid. But it doesn't mean I need to tune in and see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not against him wrestling. I just I don't really have too much of an interest in watching it, which is kind of sad. But the $200 figures, get out of here. Figure people, get out of here. Why are you buying this? Why are you buying this figure, people? If you all band together and don't buy them, that's even better than purchasing them. Anyway, Pee Wee, you got a Twitter account, eh?
I did start a new Twitter account. The Mark Bitters brand is really blowing up. And I figured that I needed to get away from the Epic Family Decals Twitter handle. I didn't want to overload the Bitter Marks Twitter handle with more of my own like personal wrestling stuff. So I decided to just create my own Twitter handle. So if you're not following already, at Ref Mark Bitters, because Mark Bitters was already taken. I didn't want to do like Mark Bitters _ or whatever. I tried to go into like the at Mark Bitters was taken, but it was taken by somebody who started it, the account in 2013 and hasn't done anything since. So I tried like emailing Twitter, but then it was like, it's not like I can provide my passport and be like, hey, my name's Mark Bitters. I would like this account.
Hey, you
No,
can always
he-
change your name legally to Mark Bitters.
Oh, I like that idea. So instead, it was just like, hey, here's a YouTube video where it's a grainy picture of a guy that looks like me, and they call him Mark Bitters sometimes. And you know what I mean? It was just impossible. So I just had to come up with my own name. So at Ref Mark Bitters, give me a follow today. I think the account is already bigger than my Epic Family Decals account that I've had open since like 2012.
I followed you, but then I blocked you. I've had enough. I think you posted twice.
Yeah, and I don't think I posted since then. Yeah, it's you're smart. Yeah. That's fine. I don't blame you.
We can talk via Skype if we need to handle business. We don't need to talk on
business.
Twitter.
Do we have to handle?
$200 producer Tony figures coming soon.
I'm in for that.
We got some emails, guys. Can you believe this? The email A still works. B accepts incoming messages here. First one from our dear friend Giuseppe in Milan. He says, hey guys, just finished listening to your latest podcast. I know that sending emails to reference something from a show doesn't make a ton of sense when you guys no longer record weekly, but I'm going to do it anyway. You guys spent some time talking about Freddie Prinze Jr., and it reminded me of something I thought about living in LA. Freddie Prinze Jr. is the poor man's Justin Timberlake. Most guys dream of...
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Most guys dream of having Justin Timberlake's life because of the money, good looks, has done cool things in life, attractive wife, and is talented in so many ways: musician, acting, sports, and naturally funny. Freddie Prinze Jr. is like that too, but at a lower tier. He's married to an actress. He's also talented across different areas, and he's done some pretty cool stuff that a lot of people are envious of, working for the WWE. He's a frequent guest host on ESPN Radio in LA. He streams on Twitch. I realize this has nothing to do with wrestling, so it is perfect for the Bittermarks podcast. A presto! Giuseppe in Milan, formerly Giuseppe in Hollywood. Yeah, I hope I pronounced that correctly. I don't know what that means. You're right. You're dead on accurate, but I was trying to come up with, is there someone else who's like that? So the first person that came to my mind was Bud Bundy, which was incorrect immediately. I knew that wasn't the correct answer.
Amazing.
But then I was like, what about Jared Leto, right? Musician, actor, weird freak, model girlfriend. But nobody likes Jared Leto. I don't know one person who likes Jared Leto.
Yeah, not universally loved like a Timberlake or the Freddie, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can dance either.
And Jared Leto does a lot of things, but he's not really good at any of them. You know what I mean? Like, he is.
He's the Sasha Nikolic of Hollywood. You know who
just as good as being the Justin Timberlake of Hollywood, right?
You know who I came up with, and I know I'm going to say the name, and you guys are going to disagree with me, but you have to listen, and you have to give me a clean slate. That's all I'm asking for.
All right, what do you got?
Joey Fatone. Now listen up. Joey Fatone, NSYNC, same group.
It's just Joey Fatone cannot be the Justin Timberlake of anything.
No,
because if he was, he would just be Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
He's the Greek Justin Timberlake. He is the Greek Justin Timberlake. NSYNC, he was in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, so the actor. He's in Impractical Jokers, so he's funny. I believe he has a podcast. What else do I have here? He's the voice. He's the announcer on Family Feud. That's almost better than anything Justin Timberlake's ever done. And last but not least, he was at Arcada Theater in St. Charles last week or 2 weeks ago, hanging out with Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps, watching Montel Jordan. And there's video of this.
How do you know this?
And I watched the video 150 times as Joey Fatone and Michael Phelps sit on the side of the stage singing along to This Is How We Do It. So I don't know, Giuseppe. I'm just saying Joey Fatone pretty close. Also, I know same group. But who else? I mean, you guys have any better one? Because we're going with Joey Fatone on this.
Yeah, we're not going to beat Joey Fatone is the Justin Timberlake of anything. Right. You're dead
right.
on. You cannot be beat.
All right, let's go on to our next email. It comes from our dear alive friend, Hattori Hanzo. Hey. He made it.
Wow.
He made it to Italy. He made it to Serbia. He made it back.
He's back. I was going to ask. He's in the chat right now. He's home now?
He is home. He is safe.
He fought off the stray dogs. He fought off the soccer hooligans.
and he sent us an email, which you know is going to be good. So he says, subject line, Tito loves bitter marks. Do you guys know who Tito was? Tito was the president of Yugoslavia for a very long time. I don't know if president's the right term, but the Socialist Federal Republic of Serbia.
Premier of Serbia, or Yugoslavia.
He was fantastic for a lot of people, and a lot of people also don't like him. But so Hanzo sends this message. He goes, who knows when Bitter Marks will broadcast again, if ever. But at the time this email is written, I am currently in Belgrade, Serbia, washing my clothes and having to hang them on a clothesline because dryers don't exist in Europe. Today, I visited the House of Flowers, where Josip Broz, a.k.a. Tito, sleeps for eternity. I brought along my OG Bitter Marks shirt to bring ginger love to Tito, but on this day, the House of Flowers was flooded with visitors and media as they were commemorating Tito's 130th birthday. Serbian communists and other old crying people with wreaths and flowers were everywhere. One woman ahead of me kissed his tomb and sobbed non-stop. She said to me, Tito was the greatest man ever. How did you understand her?
So he's like the Elvis of Serbia? Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, he's the socialist leader of Serbia, and depending on whether you support communism or not, affects your opinion on him. My uncle Chicamile, rest in peace, loved Tito, I'm pretty sure. I believe he had a picture of him here, like in his locker, when I used to work with him at the shop back in the day. Anyway, I was inadvertently part of I lost it. Hold on. She said to me, Tito was the greatest man ever. Another man who I suspect was retarded was decked out in Tito merch and carrying a gigantic framed picture. You would have thought this was Tito's funeral and he died yesterday. I was inadvertently part of the communist parade into the House of Flowers that was filmed by a television station called Pink. Pink's like the biggest station over there. My dad always tries to find free ways to watch it here, but he has no luck.
Gotta watch that free Pink.
A bunch of commies and me in a Lions hat. I hope the CIA... Oh, in a Detroit Lions hat. I hope the CIA is not waiting for me when I return. My dream was to get a picture of that shirt, Tony side up, on the tomb, but that was not going to fly if I wanted to make it out of Serbia alive. There's two statues in the park that would have made a nice plan B, but they too were bombarded with mourners. Most of the folks here were 60 and older, and I'm wondering if they still believe because they grew up indoctrinated by communism, or if it's nostalgia because they miss Yugoslavia. Perhaps Sasha can tell us more when we start our Yugoslavia podcast. I mean, you know more about Yugoslavia than I do. There was a Tito/Yugoslavia flea market outside of the entrance. You didn't see that word coming.
They have merch? Did you buy some Tito merch?
A guy with one tooth tried to sell me a yellow Yugo. I took a free Serbian communist newspaper.
Car?
Yeah. And bought a Tito magnet and Yugoslavia flag. No stray dogs aside from a gypsy shanty town that I could see from the bus that the airport goes by. I stand by the Belgrade bus aside the near crash I experienced today. No joke, Belgrade is amazing. I need to visit again and would recommend anyone visit. Fuck Paris. That might be the name of this episode. Your mom goes to Paris. That's definitely the name of this episode. Go to Belgrade. Yes, absolutely fantastic. He also sent me a separate email that was just 30 minutes of bashing Italy as a country, because he also visited our dear friend Giuseppe. I'm not going to read it, but you guys can only imagine the bad things that he said.
Sure.
When you go to a classy city like Belgrade in Serbia, and then you have to go to the slums of Milan, you know what I'm saying? Guys, I'm happy that he's alive.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Do we know why he went?
Because he's the man.
Hanzo's a world traveler. He's a world
Yeah.
traveler. He's a international man of mystery. He's going to all kinds of countries all the time.
He's the Anthony Bourdain of Bolingbroke. That's what he is.
Yeah, he scours the world in search of the best encased meats that he could find, and of course that led him to Belgrade, right?
Yeah, Hanzo asked me and Bishop and Worm, I think, to all go, and we were all like, "That's a great idea. I just don't think we can go." And he was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna buy tickets, and I'm gonna go. So it would be great if you guys could go. And we're all like COVID and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked that he still went. He got to see Iron Maiden, by the way. He hung out with people from Bulgaria. They were buying him beers.
That's awesome.
Bulgarians, solid people. And so they met up at the Iron Maiden show or whatever. And he had a good time. He was sending me pictures. And I was like, Micah, do not text me while you're over there, because I think Ivica texted me when he was in Egypt one time. And then he ended up getting thousands of dollars worth of like fees.
Yeah,
and I had to hide from Ivica for months because I wasn't going to pay him for that stuff. And so Hanzo was like sending me pictures and all that stuff. And I was like, please send them via email, which he did. And then he either forgot or did not care because he is a man of high amounts of money. And then he started texting me again. And I was like, all right, well, I warned you. That's as much as I can do.
That's all you can do, right?
The rest is on you, Hanzo. I'm glad you had a good time. There are actually 4 incredible festivals in Serbia. One is a beer fest that is like a massive beer fest in Belgrade they do every year. One of them is called, I think it's called like Pasulj Fest. Pasulj is bean soup. Everybody makes bean soup different.
What is this podcast anymore?
There's also Rostalida. I don't know how they pronounce it. Rostalida? Something like that. But it's where my family's from. They make the largest burger. It's like the Guinness Book of World Records burger. And they have to flip it. It's like the size of a swimming pool. And they do that.
What?
Yeah.
How do they cook
it's incredible. Google it. It's like on a large oven that they custom made.
Flamethrowers.
It's incredible, and it's like this
9
Yeah,
guys.
there's
It's
a
a
bunch of guys
massive-
with flamethrowers. Yeah.
It's a massive meat fest, and it's like a huge thing.
Massive Meat Fest is absolutely the name of this episode.
All right, sorry, Micah. Let me write that down. Massive meat fest, and then there's also
Like a massive meat fest.
then there's also Gucha, which is a trumpet fest, which gets like tens of thousands
yeah.
of people going just watching trumpet music. It's incredible. You got to watch the videos of these things. Micah, I mean, Hanzo, if you go to Gucha, I am in whatever that is. So
What is happening?
this would be a great time to announce that the Billy Joe Travis Memorial Crockett Cup Tag Team Championship Tournament Invitational? Was that what it's called?
Golf
Sounds right.
Invitational. You forgot golf.
Oh, Golf Invitational.
Oh, you were close.
Will be taking place on Saturday, June 18th, probably in between 10 and 11 a.m. I got to still book it. We have pretty much the same group as last year, so if anybody
look at
wants
that
to
thing.
go, you need to let me know. Producer Tony has the trophy. We do have a new trophy coming out.
I was going to ask, is that trophy on the line, or is that like the 2021 version? And then
I don't know. I thought it was going to be like the Stanley Cup, where like the winner gets to take it for an entire calendar year until the next time.
My opinion is that is way too fragile to be passed back and forth between people, right? Isn't that top going to snap off with transitioning from one person to
It's
another?
kind of solid.
What if we introduce a new trophy every year and we give all trophies to the person? So when we get to like year 10, you have to
Jeez.
get 10
You
trophies.
need a cart full of the trophies. Yeah.
That's way better than the NHL, I think. Either way, Saturday, June 18th, if you want to come, you have to text me. I don't know who wants to come to this. Even if you've already told me before that you want to come to this, let me know for sure whether you want to. Text me or email bittermarks@gmail.com. Anyone is welcome. If I don't know you, if you're our listener from Peru and you want to come on out. We're going to have a good time. Pee-wee, the rumor is you are golfing this year. Is this true?
Yeah, I feel like the past year I've been in the gym. I've been working out a little bit more. My back should be able to handle it. We're good to go. I got to find some clubs, but we're good to go.
So Saturday, June 18th, 10 to 11 a.m. We're going to go somewhere and eat afterwards. It should be fun as long as weather is good. And if the weather sucks, then we'll just not hang out, most likely. So,
Sure.
all right, Pee-wee, tell us your stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to get you guys caught up on what I've been doing just because it's been a busy... When was the last time we did the show? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? It had to have been a while ago. No, it was 3 weeks ago. It was between... I had just done that Penta show with Pentagon Jr., and I was about to travel to New York to do 2 shows there, and then I had the following weekend I was doing another big show. So I just wanted to give you guys some highlights of what happened there. On May 14th, I drove to New York. May 13th, I drove there. May 14th was the show. This show was for Create a Pro. The show was booked by and owned by Brian Myers and Pat Buck. Is Sashi familiar with Pat Buck?
I am. Yeah, he was in.
Okay.
I mean, he's been a wrestler for a long time. Then he was with the WWE, and then he quit WWE and went directly to AEW.
He was the guy that quit the day after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume I know why, but the opinion of the internet is just the guy got too frustrated with the way WWE was, and on top of that, he had just produced the main event of WrestleMania the night before, and he said, "Okay, I can do no more here. I don't have a reason to stick around. I'm out," and he left. And like the next day, he turned up in AEW doing the same role. So very cool. So I was excited to go there and just be able to meet and get in front of Pat Buck, not for any real like political reason to like better my career. That's not my goal, but just I thought it would be cool. So show is May 14th, that Saturday. I was in town the night before. That morning, I woke up and garage sailed and went around to like a bunch of estate sale. I think I talked about it on Flips and Bumps.
Yeah.
That was if you listen to Flips and Bumps, that was the morning where I found the Nintendo ceiling fan and I didn't pick it up.
Yeah, Mario Brothers, whatever.
Tony was a Mario Brothers
I heard it.
ceiling fan.
I heard the segment.
Oh, you did?
And I was
Okay,
shaking my head
yeah,
when I was listening to it.
It's still hung up in New York, right?
I just like
go to
it's
listen to
two
Flips-
bolts and two wires. I mean, you could have handled this.
By the way,
It's
huge.
not two bolts and two wires. Have you ever taken out a
Yeah.
fan or put up a fan?
Yes.
You got to take off all the
Oh,
blades.
the
You have
blades
to take
don't
out the
count. I'm
motor.
talking about the bolts to the ceiling.
Sure, if you can get there, but you have to take the whole. You have to dismantle the whole thing before that.
Huge backlash
Anyways.
on the Flips and Bumps Instagram page. Everybody was like, "You do what you got to do
That's
to
right.
get this fan."
I mean, you got to crack a few eggs to make an omelet, Pee Wee. Here, you got to work for it.
I wanted to. It was a lot of work, and I had places to be. I had to get to the building for this wrestling show, and I was like, worst come to worst, I can come back the next day on Sunday and try to pick it up before the show. So I go to the show on Saturday, and my theory with any wrestling show, whether it's a big show like this or it's a small show or anywhere in between, my thinking, especially as a referee, like it's hard to stand out as a referee. So I want to be as useful as possible in any occurrence that I can. So when they think of Mark Bitters, because that's the only name that anybody knows me by, no matter what show I go to, if they think of Mark Bitters, then I want them to think, okay, he's a useful guy. His reffing is good, but on top of that, our show runs smoother because that guy is here. So I got to the building early. I helped them set up. I'm running around. I'm doing stuff. And this was the show where they were bringing in a bunch of guys. And it was, I get it confused with the one that was the next day as well. But it was a bunch of like local guys combined with Cardona, Myers, Sterling.
Dark Order.
Yeah, Dark Order was
Max
on the
Caster,
show.
I believe.
Max Caster, Chris Statlander, and the big draw was his first independent showing ever. Hook was to make an appearance.
Yeah.
Big. You're right. This entire podcast was thrilled about that.
Pro
Now,
Taz,
selfishly,
Pro Taz, Pro Hook, all the time.
always for life. So I selfishly wanted the Hook match, right? Like I normally don't care about what matches I get and who's in these matches, save for a couple instances.
Yeah.
So the Hook match. Let's see what we're doing here.
I thought that this was right, but of course it's not working.
I'll let you know when we need to get to one.
I think it's just the Stone Cold Stunner video. That's what.
Just on loop. That's fine. So the Hook match, I wanted that, and I tried to like politic for it a little bit, but at the same time, I don't want to step on toes. Then, when I start doing that, with who was I? I think I was talking to Cardona. It had to be Myers. Myers says, I apologize, bro. I get what you're trying to do, but I can't have you ref the Hook match. Tony, if you can try to bring up the card, the piece of paper that's taped to the wall.
Yeah, all of these pictures were working, and there we go.
Okay, so I know you guys can't see this picture up close, us three, but if you're watching YouTube, you can. So the 7th match is Hook segment. Hook segment, all it says is Hook meets, and then it says something Vice. It's like Kamala Vice or something. Under that, it says no ref, no pin, or no bell, no pinfall. So whatever the agreement was for Hook to come in to do, it was only for Hook to come in and have a segment. He could not wrestle. It could not be a match. It could not be anything. So they had to make sure that there was no referee in sight. there was no bell to be heard and that there was no pinfall. You know what I mean? So because of that, I couldn't get in the ring with Hook. But on the bright side, like I said, I like to be as useful as possible. And I'm a ref. I don't have much to do during what they were doing before the show. They had a meet and greet going. So all the names and all the local guys were at tables all throughout the building. And there's nothing I can do at that point. The show is all set up. Everything's all booked. I can't talk with the guys who are going over matches because nobody's going over matches. They're all at tables trying to sell shirts and photo ops. So instead, I'm just walking around. I grab 3 bottles of water from the back at a time, and I just walk to every table. Hey, man, do you need a bottle of water? And I'm doing this for the local guys. I'm doing this for the names, and people are just appreciative of it. And I'm just trying to make myself useful. So the bottle of water thing was like one of the main things I was doing, just making sure people are good. Do you need anything? Do you need more pens to sign stuff for? Do you need me to hold a camera? Can I do anything? I'm just doing that kind of stuff. Hook did not. He was what everyone was there for. Hook's line, the meet and greet started at 5 o'clock. Doors opened at 4:30. By 4:45, his line was already wrapped around the building on the inside. So it was already like going back to where it started. It was all the way around this huge building. And on top of that, Hook was late. Hook didn't show up till about 5:45.
Hook is never late. Hook shows up on time every time.
Very punctual. I don't think it was his fault. Traffic in New York that day was terrible. But it took him forever to get there. And at the same time, so everybody is standing in line for waiting for Hook to be there. Meanwhile, everybody else, including the other names, are like, well, what are we doing here? We're just watching Hook's line just get longer and longer. Meanwhile, nobody's coming to my table. Hook eventually does come and they start working through the table, but he's very, very busy. And I do my thing of going over, making sure he's okay. I offer him waters and I say, is there anything else I can get you? He goes, can you get me? And he had like a posse with him. He's like, can you get me and then these guys like some pretzels or something? And I'm like, I think he was referring to like a hot pretzel or something from the concession stand. But I'm just like, in my head, I drove there. And my staff always makes sure that I have like a bag of snacks ready to go. I'm like, in the back, I have a giant like gallon Ziploc baggie of pretzels. Do you want me to bring that out to you? He's like, dude, that would be fantastic. Go do that. So I go to the back, grab my giant bag of my road snacks, these pretzels, and I bring them out there. And I just leave them there. And then I go around and do the rest of the stuff. Once the show starts, so they clear the room of the meet and greet guys. Everybody else takes their seats and gets ready for the show. Hook comes to the back and he does nothing but beeline to me and give me the pretzel bag back, what was left of it, and just thanks me mercilessly. And it was just very like appreciative of what I did.
A good kid.
And then all throughout the rest of the night, he kept coming up to me. He's like, "Hey man, you got any more pretzels?" Hey man, can I get one more handful of those pretzels? And all night, it was just all night. So him and I were just like joking around all night. I had a blast with Hook all night. My problem with Hook was his meet and greet. So his price, I don't know exactly what his prices were. I heard somebody say it was $50 for a photo, $50 for an autograph. I don't know if that's true. But if it was, Tony, do you have the picture of his meet and greet op? Okay. This is a picture I took off Instagram.
Is that Justin Bieber? I can't tell.
Who is this? Is the question. So if you're not watching on Twitter, if I'm paying $50 or $100 for a photo with Hook, I'm paying $50 or $100 and I want the hair in the picture.
Yeah,
right? I want the hair all done up. I want it all over the place. This picture is Hook in a hoodie with a vest on over it, with a ball cap. The amount of over clothes he has a vest over a hoodie, something I've never seen, and he has a ball cap on with the hood up. Right? You like so it's very shadowy on his face. I get what he's trying to do. I thought it was hilarious that these were the photo ops that people were paying for. So that was Hook. The show starts. And I had a blast. The Cap show on Saturday night was literally like one of the favorite show I've ever done. The opening contest was Hornswoggle and Smart Mark Sterling as baby faces. And Sterling is on AEW TV on a weekly basis as a heel. But here he's in front of a lot of like the podcast fans. And so he's got to be a baby face. But to get it more over that he was a baby face, they cut a promo in the back where it was just him talking to Swoggle, how they're excited. They're going for the tag team championships tonight. And they're going back and forth. And Swoggle's like, I'm not in the Rumble. I'm going for the titles. And Sterling's like, yeah, we're going for the titles. And they go back and forth almost like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. And at the end, Swoggle walks off. walks off camera. Sterling, to get over as a babyface, just looks in the camera, kind of confused, not sure what to do. He ends it by saying, "Come on, big babyface," and then he walks off. So I'm going to post a link to that. It was my favorite promo that I've ever seen done. Then the match itself was fantastic. I have a lot of respect for Hornswoggle in general. But watching him in the match, he is a master inside the ring. I couldn't believe how easily Hornswoggle had the people in the palm of his hand. And then to top it all off, one of my favorite things, I made a post about this at Ref Mark Bitters on Twitter. One of my favorite things in wrestling is when the names come in to a small town show and they're fighting for the belts, and the last thing you think is going to happen is that the name is going to beat the guy with the belt, because it just makes sense. You're going to pay the extra money for the guy to come in. It's only going to be a one-time thing. He's going to put over your champ, and it makes your champ look better. In this case, that's not what happened. They paid Swoggle and Sterling to come in. They put the belts on Swoggle and Sterling, and the building went insane. I've got a picture of that with Swoggle and Sterling with the belts. Yeah, look at this. The crowd was going nuts at this point. Swoggle is just beaming with pride. This is one of my favorite pictures I have of my entire wrestling career.
I was going to say fantastic. That's like a hang in your basement, hang in your office.
You put that next to the Kamala picture in your portfolio, baby.
Yeah.
That's
it's right up
good.
there.
Yeah,
it's a
good.
Hall of Fame Pee Wee referee picture. Yeah, I was very, very proud of that. The only other match that I had that night, so I had this match with Swoggle and Sterling. The other match I had was the Dark Order versus the major players, who was Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. This one went off without a hitch until the end, and I wanted your guys' thoughts on this. So I asked, just like I normally do, I ask everybody, what are we doing? What's the finish? And is there anything else I need to know? But at the minimum, I need to know the finish. So John Silver, you guys know who John Silver is, the AEW Dark Order guy, the small, bald, jacked guy. I go up to him and I ask him to finish, and he goes, "I'll hit it'll be a bunch of moves, blah blah blah, stunner, German, 1 2 3." Okay, easy enough. Stunner, German, 1 2 3. So we go out there. This was not the podcast show, so Cardona and Myers are heels versus the Dark Order that are baby faces. We get to the end of the match. Tony, play this video.
Fireman's carry, but no.
Okay, so Cardona takes a move. He takes a hit to the balls, tagging Reynolds. Reynolds ducks under. Cardona's out of the ring. Myers takes him out. Myers goes to Reynolds, throws him into the corner. Reynolds reverses. Silver with a big kick.
Silver caught him.
Into Reynolds with a big spinning move. The Silver with the move. Stunner. German. 1 2 3. Did you see? I know it's choppy here. Did you see what happened?
Yeah, because the other guy hops over for the pin.
So Silver hits the German. I go down for the count 1, and then after I hit 1, Reynolds, who is the legal guy, which is something I never pay attention to. I counted the other guys to keep track of it. After 1, Reynolds does the flip over, the no mercy pin. Right here, he grabs him. 2 3. I knew I messed up right away. I knew it was a mistake to count the shoulders on Silver. Well, kind of. What am I supposed to do? You told me that the finish was a German. I'm counting on a German. Granted, I should have known who's the legal guy, but people mess up all the time and don't have the legal guy in the match, so I don't think I could be at fault there. I apologized as soon as I came to the back, but even before I could do that, as soon as I walked through the curtain, Myers looks at me and goes, "You fucked up that count." I go, "Well, thanks," and yes. And then I apologize. But my thinking is so live, what do I do here? I've already counted 1 when Silver's making the pin. I have 2 options. I either after 1 I stop, come up, and then go back down for Reynolds, but that's going to put the timing off. And then I go 1 2 3, or I do what I did. They hit the German. I go 1, and then I just keep going 2 3. But then it's important that I need to make a big deal that it's over at that point. If I don't make a big deal that it's over, then they just think it's a 2 count because nobody can hear me counting the actual numbers.
Yeah, it's just if you miss it, you're screwed either way. Basically.
Yeah, agreed.
One way
It's-
looks like you didn't count fully. The other way you clearly counted
It
too
just
much.
wasn't a good scenario either way. So I wasn't. This aided me for the rest of the weekend. The fact that I messed up this pin, the final pin in this match, it really aided me. So I know it's not that big of a deal. And probably the most impressive part is that Myers knew I messed it up, and he's the guy who's upside down being pinned. You know what I mean? Like it's not like anybody else called me out for it.
Mayhem everywhere, honestly.
And Silver and Reynolds, were they mad at you? Were they?
No, they apologized to me, which they absolutely didn't have to do. They were just like, yeah, I mean, we work around here a lot. We just expect guys to know our finish. I absolutely should have told you, what the moves were and who was doing the pinning. So, I mean, everybody took blame for it. But at the end of the day, I do think it was more me than anybody else.
I think you handled it.
Here comes Reynolds back in.
Yeah, best case scenario at that point. It was definitely a mess up, but it could have been worse. I could have just like stalled and been like, I don't know what I'm doing. So after this, I get to the back and I'm done. And I start talking to Cardona. And this was Saturday. The next day on Sunday is the FWF show. And that's the show that's the show I was down there for. I just asked Myers, hey, I'll be in town anyways. Can I do the Saturday show? And he said, sure. So after that match, I'm talking to Cardona and he says, he looks at me and says, hey, here. And he hands me my FWF ref shirt for the next day. He gets Cardona. Saturday, I'm wearing my ref shirt, the one that I take to all my shows. But for FWF, Cardona gets special FWF referee shirts made, and then he lets us keep them at the end, and then he gets new ones the next show. So he said, hey, here, you can keep this for tomorrow. I don't want to hang on to it. And in fact, because you're the senior official of the FWF, I'll give you the other two, and you can hand them out tomorrow. This was the first time that Cardona had ever referenced me as being the senior official of the FWF. Sterling had done it previously, and Sterling had me do the intro to their podcast right after FWF2 to do like hey, here's what's happening on Thursday. Be sure to tune in. I'm your senior official, Mark Bitters, and tune in on Fight TV, blah, 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 blah. Cardona heard that and got pissed that I referred to myself as the senior official. When in fact, it was just Sterling saying, hey, here's your script. Read this verbatim. And in there, it said senior official. But then since then, Cardona's been like, you're not the senior official. Stop saying you're the senior official. So him actually referring to me as the senior official for FWF3 really meant a lot to me. I was very happy that happened. So that ended the Saturday show. That night, while we were out to dinner, I asked Myers, dude, is there anything I can do for you the next day? Anybody need picked up from the airport? Can I do anything? In my head, I'm like, I hope you say no because I want to go pick up this fan. Sadly, he says, yeah, actually, we could use some guys to pick up at to help out picking guys up at the airport. So I said, sure, absolutely. So I had to pick up Trey Miguel, who is, he's not X Division champion, right? But he's an X Division guy.
Yeah. And
here's a picture of the refs from Friday night or from Saturday night. Very, very good guys.
He was part of the Rascals, by the way.
Okay, there you go. Absolutely, yeah. And I'll talk more about Trey Miguel in a second. But this picture here, these three refs, this is why I don't have a job with anybody, right? What do you notice? What is the
You're about
thing that
6 to 8 inches too tall, Pee-wee.
Right, exactly.
You are the giant Pee-wee of these.
Absolutely right. So yeah. That's why I included that picture, just because I look ridiculous compared to any other referee. So the next morning, my job was to pick up Trey Miguel at the airport at 9. And then I was supposed to wait around the airport, take Trey Miguel to breakfast or get him food or get him, kill time until 10:15 when Colt Cabana's plane landed. Okay, I can do that. So I wake up the next morning at 8 o'clock. I fight New York traffic. I go to the airport. I pick up Trey with no problem at all. Very, very cool guy. Him and I were just chatting about he's a very young guy, but he has like a similar attitude to us, where he's very bitter about some of the stuff and like the no selling and an X Division guy being angry about flippy stuff. I was going to say,
I wouldn't think that you would be a Trey Miguel fan because a lot of people call him like Ricochet Light or whatever,
Yeah, no, but he's very like old school, loves like old school theory. I haven't seen much of his work, but I love his attitude. I love this kid. And then I explained to him the plan. Okay, let's go. Are you hungry? Because we can go grab food, and then we can come back and pick up Cabana at 10:15. He said, no, man, I've actually, honestly, I've been up since 4:30 in the morning trying to catch this flight. If it's okay, can we just go to the hotel, drop me off? I'll take a nap, and you can pick me up later and bring me to the show. yeah, sure, that's fine. It's 9 a.m. and your check-in isn't until 4, but if you want to call the hotel and see if you can get an early check-in, sure. So he does that, and the hotel says, no, we cannot allow you to do early check-in. So I said, okay, well, now we can either wait for Cabana or I can take you to the building, but the building's like 35 minutes away. He says, yeah, if it's not too much trouble, let's go to the building. Okay, sure. So I bring him to the building. The ring is already set up because it's the same building as the night before. So the ring and everything, the barricades, chairs, everything are set up from the night before. And he's just like, I just want to go take a nap. So we drove the 35 minutes in the New York traffic to get back to the building. I drop him off. I get him settled, like show him around the locker room, say, hey, there's the ring. If you want to take a nap in the ring, whatever you want to do. But whatever it is, I got to go because Cabana's plane is going to land in 10 minutes. So I jump back in my car. I drive back quickly to the airport. And just as Cabana's walking out of the airport, I pull up, and it was perfect timing. So I picked him up. He remembered me because we had done an Ethan Page video back in like November or December. So we talked about video games for a little bit. And then we started talking about, you know what it was? He looked at my car. It was like, I know you're a Chicago guy, but this car looks like a real car. Like, I'm like, what do you mean a real car? He's like, well, there's a hairbrush. So like, I don't think that's your hairbrush. And if this is a rental car, there wouldn't be a hairbrush in here. So like, what's the story here? So I'm like, yeah, I had to drive out, or not I had to drive out, but I chose to drove out here from Chicago. And then that's what triggered him. That's where he's like, oh, that's right. You're from Chicago, blah, blah, blah. So then we get on Chicago Talk. Then I bring up Kurt's name. And then he brings up Randy's name. And that's so the rest of the trip back to the building is just talking about Randy and because Colt's first match was he wasn't trained by Randy, but his first match was a Randy show where he was under the mask as a goon.
Yeah.
And we were talking about like Randy's tribute shows where Randy would dress up as Bret Hart and he would have like the Goon and Kim Chi and the Patriot. And he's like, yeah, didn't he also do didn't Eric Freedom do the Doink or something? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Cabana's like, yeah, Randy wanted me on like my 5th match to be Doink. Like, really? That's one, that's terrible. 2, that's amazing. Cabana completely agreed. He's like, yeah, I refused to do it then because I was concerned about like making my own persona. But now there's nothing more that I would want to do than just go out there and be a Doink.
It's so insane that you brought up Eric Freedom and Rockin' Randy because I have them in my notes for something later as well.
Wow, amazing. So I bring him to the show, and then I start doing the same thing and just try to be as helpful as I can. Show starts. I do a match with Teddy Goods, who's a wrestler out there. He wrestled a gauntlet match where he lost to Brian Myers, then he lost to the Big O, and then he lost to Maven. So that was like 3 quick names, and I got to be in the ring with Maven, which was a highlight of my weekend. There was a tag team match that I did, which was the Headbangers and Scotty 2 Hotty against 2 local guys.
Wait,
probably
the
highlight
match against 2 local guys.
No, the Amash of the Headbangers was injured, and they're the FWF Tag Team Champions, so they had to call in a Attitude Era replacement.
Love it.
And that's when Scotty 2 Hotty got the phone call.
I love it.
Okay, so this was the problem with my Sunday show. It's supposed to be Cardona versus a guy called Max Smashmaster, which is like a 6'4", 6'5" giant guy who has an amazing gimmick. Like his face painted up. He comes out with all this gear on. The guy looks amazing, and it's supposed to be a hardcore match. I'm not the ref for this match, but I'm supposed to be the replacement ref. So in this hardcore match, the original referee gets too involved, and Smashmaster, who's just a huge guy, gets pissed off at that ref and gives him an elbow, just lays him out. It's a hardcore match, doesn't matter. That's when I'm supposed to slide in. After then Smashmaster turns around, Cardona hits his finish. He pins him. Crowd is counting 1, 2, 3. The ref isn't there. 4, 5. Now I run in. I slide into the ring. I count a big 1, 2, kick out, and then we go into the finish. From there, I'm supposed to finish the match that way. The problem is after that finish, that's when a bunch of shenanigans happen, essentially, where one wrestler comes in and interferes with Cardona. Chelsea comes in behind him. There's a bunch of stuff back and forth. Eventually, they get rid of those guys. Cardona picks up the belt. He's going to Smashmaster, and he's going to lay out Smashmaster with the belt. But before he can do that, Smashmaster blows green mist in the guy's face, in Cardona's face. Good spot, very good spot. Actually, when Cardona was blinded, he then turns around with the belt as Chelsea taps him on the shoulder, and he lays out Chelsea with the belt. Very, very good finish. Problem was, Smashmaster wanted me, the second referee, to be the one that handed him the gimmicked up stuff for the mist. And by gimmicked up stuff, I mean a balloon is too big. So what he did is he took a balloon and cut off the top. He filled the balloon with green acrylic paint and water. He then tried to tie that balloon without the twist tie on it and tied it as best as he could. And his plan is just, okay, when you get in the ring, give this to me sneakily, like, while he focuses on Cardona, and I'll put it in my mouth, I'll bite on it and be good to go. Sounds easy enough, but this is a balloon that's like poorly tied.
It's a structurally unsound balloon.
Right. And it has bright green liquid that I need to put in my back pocket. And then I need to reach into my back pocket. After I slide into, I first have to run to the ring in my back with this thing in my back pocket. I have to slide under the bottom rope. And then I have to get on my knees and start counting. And at that point, when I'm on my knees and my body's bent over, the back of my pants is going to be extremely tight. It is very possible that this thing breaks open in my back pocket. And the only way I'm going to find out is when I reach into my back pocket, I pull my hand out, and it's just bright green.
And then you have to sell it.
Right.
Just picturing you with a bright green stain on your pants that's like oozing up to your ref shirt. Like
it couldn't. So I was nervous as hell for this. I had right before I went out, I had the guy who was also standing in Gorilla with me cut off the buttons on the back of my pants because I was afraid the balloon was going to get caught on the buttons as I pulled it out. Luckily, it went off fine. I dove in, I did the 2 count, I handed it off to him, and it was fine. But that was the most nerve-wracking part of the entire weekend. And on top of that, I had the next match, which was Smart Mark Sterling against Effie in a Smart Mark Rules match, which I'd never done before, never really even heard of before. But it was a very fun concept, and it gave me a ton to do in the match. But because I was so nervous about this green stuff, Mark is trying to call me over and like, hey, here's 9 spots we need you to remember. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I just need to worry about this green paint that I don't want to get all over the place. If you have a chance, check out this show specifically for this Smart Mark versus Effie match. The Smart Mark Rules match is brilliant. He comes to the ring and is like, this match, I'm challenging you to a Smart Mark Rules match. Do you accept? And Effie is like, well, I don't know. What is it? Blah, blah, blah. And Smart Mark's just like, do you accept? Do you accept? And Effie's like, okay, whatever. I'll beat you at whatever. They shake hands. And then Mark grabs his Smart Mark book of rules and says, okay, let me read you the rule. Let me read you all 637 rules. Rule 1. No super kicks, and he just starts getting to roll like, what does he say? Oh, and then as he's reading it, the babyface Effie comes behind him, rolls him up with a schoolboy. Quick 1, 2, 3. Crowd goes nuts. It's over. But then Mark gets back on the microphone. Rule number 4 in Smart Mark Rules: no schoolboys. Right, and then so they do a bunch of spots like that. So then I need to know all of this stuff, right? Like the back and forth, and then eventually there's a big payoff. Mark ends up sneaking up behind Effie later in the match, goes for a schoolboy with the tights. I go down to count it. No schoolboys. And then the crowd goes nuts for it. Turns around to Effie's finish. 1, 2, 3. We go home. One of my favorite matches. A lot of these matches were a lot of fun to do. That was the last match I did on that show. After that, we all went out to dinner for wings, and I started to drive home that night. But the end of the FWF show. So there is can you get rid of this picture, Tony, and just put us back to full screen? Is that going to mess things up or no? So I've shown this card before, right? This is the FWF card that they gave me and the other referee. This is one of my prized possessions at this point. This is me and the other referee from FWF 2. This other referee's name is an independent wrestler. He goes by Leo Sparrow in the New York area. And he was just an independent guy who worked for Cat previously, and they didn't have a spot for him on FWF 2, so they just made him a referee. Now they have a spot for him. They had him ref the main event and turn on Fandango turn on Fandango and team with VSK via a fast count at the end of the show. So he's a heel referee at the end of the show. I need to act like I'm all disappointed in the guy, blah, blah, blah. Cut to that Wednesday afterwards. And I'd never been more proud of Wardlow, my boy on AEW. Tony, can you pull up the clip from AEW?
Hold on.
I think it's the video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure everybody's seen this. So this is this is the match where the cage match Wardlow versus MJF, or I think it was MJF, and the security comes in, and one of the security guys gets powerbombed into the cage and then disappears into the beyond between
He's
the
in
cage
the ether.
and the ring.
Yes.
So bringing it back to Pat Buck, being an AEW producer, he books all the Cap guys for extra work for AEW. That is Leo Sparrow, the heel referee, getting powerbombed into the cage and disappearing on Dynamite. So this was a big day on social media for everybody. I got to be very happy about it because I'm getting referee vengeance. This was awesome to see, and perfect timing for FWF. So that was fantastic.
Is he okay?
Yeah. Did he live? Yes.
Haven't talked to him since. I can't stand him.
Still under the ring.
Right. Okay, I mean, that's the end of that weekend. I know we're already late here. Do we want to wrap this up now?
I mean, I got nowhere to be. I don't care. Whatever you guys want.
That's up to you. Tony, what do you want to do?
Take it home, baby.
Okay. That's fine. Some other day I'll tell you about my weekend for ACW and how the rest of that weekend went. The only thing I do want to touch on is while I was out, or when I got back from all these shows, we got back on Sunday. I had to drop Steph off at the airport on Wednesday because she was, DDPY brought her down for a DDPY summit and a big get together between DDPY champions and all of that. While they were down there, they surprised her by bringing her in front of the building and saying they wanted to shoot a video with her. When she got in front of the building, Tony, bring up this picture if you can. When they got in front of the building, let's see, it'll be a while. There it is. They put her before and after picture on the DDPY building in Atlanta. She didn't know this was happening. Yes, this is amazing. The guy that she's next to was her DDPY like inspiration, the original DDPY success story, and Steph is right next to that guy. I couldn't be more proud of this woman. Isn't this awesome? Like, I know I'm her husband, but as outsiders,
No, not
awesome.
awesome.
You can say this
not
is terrible.
Is she getting any cash off this deal here? I mean, that's pretty cool and all thing, but likeness rights, you know what I'm saying, Pee Wee? We got to talk to your agent here.
No, that was honestly that stuff's all in the contract. But we are working on other stuff. We have lots of coals in the fire right now.
No, it was cool. I saw it on our Instagram page when it came up. I believe she put it on there.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
okay, cool.
And I was like, holy cow, because I didn't even know she was gone. And I was like, is that a DDP yoga facility in like Oswego, Illinois?
Yeah, this is the official DDPY center in Atlanta, where they used to have like weekly classes here where Dallas would teach. Since COVID, they had to shut that down, but it still runs as like the headquarters for the online business. And it's nothing but promotional material. And now Steph is for now, permanent fixture of that building. I couldn't be more proud of her.
Good job, Steph.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right.
I'm going to take it home, but I do have a couple more things here really quick.
Hold on. We're having a technical issue.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, yeah, we're good now.
One, instead of doing an entire merch corner, there are 2 books and 1 shirt that I wanted to talk about right before we leave here. I had to pull the trigger on this shirt, my friends. Look at this. This is a Heartbreak Kid David Lee Roth shirt, which was made, I'm pretty sure, specifically for me. That is the best shirt I've ever seen. I had to pull the trigger. I don't even remember where I got it from. That's how good it was. The other thing I wanted to talk about, we're starting a book club here, the Bitter Marks Book Club. Pee Wee, you know who Brian Gewirtz is?
Yeah, old WWE writer. I think he's now The Rock's agent, or he's
writing
like
partner,
personal creative for The Rock. Like he just follows The Rock around and gives him.
So he was a writer for like Raw and SmackDown from like '99 to like 2015 or something like that.
Yeah. So the heyday.
Yeah. Yep.
Like now the prime Rock and Austin years.
Just always known as like a guy with awesome ideas or whatever. And like you said, now he's like a creative partner with The Rock. I believe him and The Rock wrote that new Rock show that's on NBC, like Young Rock or whatever. He has this book coming out on sale August 16th. Pre-orders are already up. It's called There's Just One Problem: True Tales from the Former One-Time 7th Most Powerful Person in WWE. Great title. I have I'm definitely going to be picking this up.
That's great
It's
stuff.
just like that's the perfect, you know what I mean? Like from the great time to like the time that I didn't watch because it was very bad and I just didn't watch wrestling or whatever.
So the cover of his book is Roddy Piper,
Yeah.
John Cena, Kurt Angle,
Jarrett.
The
Is that
Rock.
Taker?
Is
I think that.
is that
Oh.
Undertaker, Jeff Jarrett, or is that Doc Hendricks?
It's a combination.
Well,
It's a combination.
He's
of
got
all
a
three.
red beard
Possibly.
Right, I don't
Taker did. He's got the hat, but like he's got like
Yeah.
the
Taker, and
a
he's got the
Parliament
hat,
wig
but the hair is
from
blonde.
from England or something like that. It's really strange.
And Michael
old
Cole
school
with his
judge,
highlights.
yeah.
Is that who's on the far right?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that's Vince. That's got to be Vince. I'm sure it's a
Yeah.
likeness thing that you probably just can't include those images, but like,
And then
yeah.
the other
I think
book,
it's cool.
this
Let me know
one
how it
is
is.
kind of interesting. Our friend Useless Dave, aka Dave Uselis, aka Dave McEllis, sent in. He texted me this thing about a guy, an author named, I don't know if this is pronounced correctly, but Brad Balukjian, Balukjian. This guy wrote a book called The Wax Pack: On the Open Road in Search of Baseball's Afterlife. What he did was he took a pack of baseball cards from 1986, which was the year that he was born, or the year that he started collecting baseball cards. I think he was born a couple years before us. I think he's like 43, 44, something like that. So he opened this pack of cards, and then he went on a road trip to find all the players who were in the pack of cards that he opened. And so he went like 11,000
Oh, that's
miles,
cool. Okay,
30
I like that.
states in 48 days. Cool premise, highly rated book. It won like NPR's Book of the Year in 2020. I don't know what else it was. LA Times top book or bestseller or whatever they call it. Now he's doing a similar thing, but with wrestling. But yeah.
Oh, really?
So
Okay. I was.
the thing is, if you open a pack of wrestling cards, you're only going to get like you're not going to have commons really. Your common is going to be Honky Tonk Man, right? Like in wrestling, it's like you're either dead or you're at a convention, or you're like
Or you're in WWE and you just go to one place and you knock
or
out the whole
there's
pack.
the 1% that are like people who don't want to talk to anybody who are out of the business or whatever. So I was kind of like trying to figure out how he's going to do this. But basically he's got a website, however you pronounce his name here, bradbalukjian.com, Balukjian, and he started like a little blog thing. He's like 10 days into this trip. He's driving 16,000 miles. I don't even know how that works, how he knows it's going to be 16,000 miles, but basically to find Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan. So
That's it?
that's all
That's
he's
the only
said,
two he needs?
like so far into it. I guess like 20 years ago, he got in contact with Iron Sheik, and then he was at a WrestleMania backstage with Iron Sheik. So he has some sort of connections. They were going to do an Iron Sheik biography, but at this time, I think Iron Sheik's daughter was murdered, and he was also going through like addiction stuff. So they like put it on the back burner. But on that day, the guy also met Hogan. He met Vince. He met all these people. He's a wrestling fan. Like he grew up, Iron Sheik was his favorite wrestler. So like he's doing some sort of thing similar to that other book that will be coming out eventually. I just think this book would be cooler, or this project might be cooler, if he was doing it with jobber guys such as Electric Eric Freedom, Rockin' Randy, Jerry Faith, who we bought our ring from, but he was a USWA guy. He jobbed in WWF. There's like guys who are known as jobbers. George South is a name you guys may have heard of. Pat Rose.
Yeah.
These are the guys who you're like, I wonder where these people are. And like, what are they doing now? Like, are they in wrestling? Like Rockin' Randy runs a wrestling promotion. That would be cool for this guy to be like, in 1996, you were on Heat losing to Mankind. And now you are, you're still in it. You're still doing it. I don't know. I just think it was a very cool idea by this guy. And I don't know. What do you guys think? It sound okay? Did I waste your time?
Yeah, that sounds very cool. I got distracted. My buddy Big Joe, the old Mountie that Randy used to book, just had a segment on Raw.
Nice.
He was a
Amazing.
paramedic, I guess. Yeah.
No, it's all
right,
good.
I got distracted.
Anyway, that's it for the show. I still have plenty of segments left. This is great because I will not be writing our next show. It is said and done, which
Fantastic.
includes the game called Producer Tony, Would You Produce It? And also a follow-up game called Pee-wee,
Ooh.
Would You Ref It?
Tease.
More on that on our next show. Next
When
show
is
we're
the
going to be
next show?
doing is going to be Monday, June 27th. So this is 3 weeks from today. It's going to be after the Billy Joe Travis golf tournament. It's going to be after the forced wrestling event that our dear friend Santino is making us go to on the 26th. So that will be the day, Monday, June 27th, 9:05, right here on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. I don't know if we still have a Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BitterMarks. Email us, bittermarks@gmail.com. New episodes drop once every 3 weeks or so. That's what we're going for here. Anyway, Pee-wee, Producer Tony, it's been fun. I will see you guys at the Billy Joe Travis golf thing.
No bitters? No bitters, huh?
Nothing bitters this week, huh?
Oh, I forgot about it. All right. No,
We gotta
no,
end
no,
this
no.
show.
We're
Jesus
going.
Christ.
We're going back.
I don't mean
Oh,
tonight. I
yeah,
mean in
yeah.
general.
I quit. What's making me bitter is my birthday, because clearly my memory is going, and that's about it. This birthday stuff is depressing, and I've tried not to make it depressing. I'm trying to be a positive energy person, and Producer Tony actually kind of convinced me. I was not even going to do the Billy Joe Travis Cup this year. I was like, nobody wants to hang out for this. I'm done. Birthdays suck. And he was like, well, I'm going, so you should be there. And so thank you to Producer Tony for doing that, kicking me in the ass a little bit. But it sucks. I don't like these birthday things as we get older. Producer Tony, what's making you bitter this week?
We always talk about the comeback in wrestling. I feel like there's another comeback coming in real world, and COVID-19 is coming back, y'all. This past couple weeks, it's hit a couple people that are close to me. I just want to send out another reminder to everybody: be smart out there. Get your vaccines, get your boosters. Be careful. COVID sucks. You don't want it. And screw Steve Blackman.
That's right. It is a hoax, and and the vaccine is making you bitter. I get it. Mandatory vaccines making you bitter. Pee-wee, what's making you bitter this week?
Honestly, I mean, I know I called you out on not even going to the bitter segment this week. I literally
know what
didn't
that
have
means.
one when I
Promo.
called you out on it. No, I mean, I can give you one. Not having enough time on this show. I have, just like you, I've got about 40 more minutes of content that I could definitely read off here. We can do an after hours podcast if you want to go live on Instagram. We can do all sorts of
for
stuff
a
here.
bonus episode. We can do a bonus episode at some point. Oh, I'm
was
going to
kidding.
do a
I'm going to
solo
bed.
bonus episode where I'm going to tell what happened to you 2 weeks ago on a weekend. I don't know what happened, so
Please.
it will be fun.
Make it
Anyway,
up, please.
all that stuff about Bitter Marks following and bull crap.
2 shows
do
in
it.
June. That's crazy.
Bye.
What are we doing?
If you want to golf,
Yes, please come
let me
golf.
know. Good day.
Oh,
Bye.
this is where I say something?